Good day and welcome to A Place Called Through. I am the host of A Place Called Through, Patricia Wade Goings, and we're broadcasting from WITV7 Community Broadcasters Network. Here at A Place Called Through, we share these inspirational moments. Our goal and our mission is to inspire you, to encourage you, to help you get through those life challenges. You know, life does throw many challenges to us in various ways. Sometimes there's similar ways, but our mission is to help you to be empowered during your journey of traveling through. So we're honored today to have as our guest Dr. Stephanie Wilson Coleman, who's going to share some factual information with you about finances. But I wanted to let you know that we also do this globally with a mission of hope. It is only accomplished through your charitable donations. So Patricia Wade, the host of A Place Called Through, I want to thank you for your charitable giving. And if you haven't sowed that seed into this ministry so that we can continue together on this journey, I invite you, please visit our website, WITV7.org, and make that donation. And I thank you in advance. Again, we're honored today to have this privilege to have as our guest, Dr. Stephanie Wilson, who is going to share with Dr. Stephanie Wilson Coleman, who is going to share her story of empowerment with us. Actually, she's known as the Empowerment Doctor, and we want to welcome her today again to A Place Called Through. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me as your guest today, and I hope that everything that I share, that out of that, someone will find one or two things that will be helpful in helping them change their lives so they can live the life that they dream about.
And we're almost certain that you're going to do that today through your story and the information that you're going to provide. We want to start off talking about finances today. Financial situations, they vary, such as life, illnesses, and different things vary amongst everyone. But finances is one of those things, too, that it's a global issue because we're not all born into, millions and millions of dollars. There is a struggle. And even if you are one of those blessed and fortunate people that have been born into millions, you know what? You're still struggling as well, too, because you have other issues that's going on. So, but we want to talk to you today, more and so that aspect of people who are really having some financial struggles. So we want to ask our audience, have they ever really experienced a financial problem? And do you feel sometimes that those situations are holding you back? So we want to get into this conversation, how then these people that are, struggling, don't know how to go through this process of getting over this hurdle of the hardships. And, when you don't have the money and you want to have it, what would you recommend here at this point, Dr. Coleman?
There's several things that I would recommend to do, and this is the financial counseling part of me. First off, there is enough money. That's the first thing we've got to see. Money is, and having money has a lot more to do with your mindset than it does with what you actually have in the bank account. So we have to work on, especially women, how we think about money. So the first thing that I would encourage you to do right now is to sit down and get intimate with your finances. A lot of times we think we don't have money, or we don't have money because our allocation of it is not exactly how we would like it to be. So go back through your finances, and this is a hard job. No one loves to do this, but go back through your finances for the last 3 months. Categorize every expense that you made, every one. Was it for your housing, your mortgage, your lights, your electricity? Was it food? Was it entertainment? What did you allocate your money towards? And then ask yourself and do the math, what percentage of it was for entertainment? What percentage of it was for food? What percentage of it was for eating out? Because it's not that we don't have enough. Often I find that we don't allocate it correctly, and we don't know how much money we're spending and when. Another thing is we tend to like to spend a lot of money helping others through their issues without realizing what our financial issues are. So we need to get clear about what's our debt, What's our plan to pay that debt off with the money that we have? I was taught as a little girl that it's not that sometimes you need to make more money. You need to use the money you have a little better. So cut out sodas is one of the things that I say cut out. They're not good for you anyway. 80 to 90% of all cases of diabetes and high blood pressure within African Americans is caused by the consumption of soda. So cut that out, drink more water. Do you really need the bottled water? Can you get a filter and put it on your sink at home? Can you use a Brita to filter the impurities out of your water? And then you can save there too. Because even with bottled water, if it's not that fresh, the plastic is sitting in that warehouse for months, collecting all kinds of garbage. So you're better cleaning your water at home. What about entertainment and how much shopping do you do? Okay. And when you spend that money, ask yourself why. What are you trying to escape? We do things because we're trying to escape something. What is it you're trying to escape? So once you can get and identify the issues behind how you allocate your money, you'll find that you'll have a little more money. Never go to the grocery store hungry. Have a list when you go to the grocery store. And eat at home more. That's the one way you can actually eliminate calories, eliminate how much sugar you're taking in, and eliminate how much sodium you're taking in. And if you do that, you'll find that any medicines that you're having to pay for, you'll begin to find that you're actually not needing that medication so that you can put more money back into your pocket. And as I always say, we got to pay attention to tithing. How are we giving? What are we doing? I tithe my way to prosperity. So I started with 1%, and then I made it up to 10%, and I made it to 15%. Now it's up to 20%. And once you put your faith in the universal power, I believe it never lets you down.
And that is true. You have to have faith and belief. And I want to go back to some of the notes that I have here about, people that are really enduring these financial struggles, now more so during COVID because of the loss of wages, the loss of jobs. So how do we say this, this impulse to buy things and, because you want to have different things, and it's the I deserve this attitude. How do we help people cope through this process of I deserve it, but you really can't afford it because of the fact that you're financially not in a position to do it, but then we're causing another issue of debtness because we believe I deserve it. What would you speak to that?
Yes, we believe we deserve fancy new cars. We did all the expensive handbags and shoes. We really do believe that. And anyone who believes they deserve that, that's their right to believe that. What I believe is money is a tool. That's it. It's not here to make you happy. It's not here to have you experience any kind of gratification. It's not here to make you sad. It is a tool. And we have to start using it for a tool. And a lot of us don't have a financial plan for our life. So if you start with having a financial plan for your life, what's your plan? What do you want to accomplish that requires money? And so does that new expensive car fit into that plan? You deserve it, but does it fit into your plan? What's your plan? What are you trying to do? My plans were simple. I wanted to be debt free. I wanted to have cash. I wanted to be able to have enough money to help a friend out with a project if I needed to make sure my kids went to college. So I made sure that I did those things, and I always wanted to help someone who was in need. So not only do I tithe, I actually give to charities too. So start with that financial plan first. What's your ideal plan for your life?
And then I want to ask you another question because, we're talking about financial hardships and, the different facets of, going through this process. What about this attitude? Oh, well, this is not going to happen to me. Because people believe that, okay, you may have money today, but then on the other side, they don't believe that, okay, it's not going to work out like this. How do we address that?
So people believe it's not going to happen to them until it happens to them, right? Because it's going to happen to them eventually. When you, and my story includes a divorce and we were very financially well off prior to the divorce, and then he just took all of the money and my identity and ran up a lot of debt that I was responsible for paying for, because at that time you didn't have all these identity theft laws to protect you. So it wasn't going to happen to me until it happened to me. Okay, so I think that you should have in your financial plan a plan for emergencies. Everyone should start to working on a plan where they will, it used to be 3 to 6 months. Now that we see how the economy is working, you need a plan for 6 to 12 months of expenses saved. That's your first thing. When you get your money, you figure out how much you can save so that you can have an emergency plan. So that if something happens to the job, or if you just decide you want to stop and doing that and do something else, and you need time to find a job, you've got a financial cushion. And it's up to you to decide that you're going to do that for yourself. So I say put aside money for that. So when you get paid, I actually advise people to, you've got to tithe 10% or where you're spiritually fed, 10% needs to go toward a retirement, and 10% needs to go toward that emergency fund. So you've got to figure out how to live out of 70% of your money. So that could mean paying attention to small things, because small changes work. So make sure that you're not using lights on your house or electricity that you don't need, that you're not there to enjoy. Turn your heat down to a lower level, and a few more degrees. 5 degrees makes a big difference in it. Make sure that all of your light bulbs are energy efficient. There's those kinds of things. And in the US, if you want energy efficient bulbs, you can literally call the electric company out. They'll come out for free. They'll do an assessment and they'll bring bulbs to give you for free. So you do those kinds of things first. Make sure if you're using gas, make sure that you have a list for the errands that you're going to run so that you are using the least amount of gas possible. Make a grocery list, figure out what you're going to cook for the week, and repurpose your leftovers. A lot of times we don't look at the things that we have now and that we can turn into money that we already have. And don't spend any money on your credit cards. Cut out entertainment until you actually have a positive cash flow. Read books. Libraries are free. Okay, they really are. And if you in a financial type, read books about finances so that you can look at different ideas and then get a plan to pay down your debt. And if you just can't pay your debt down, don't ignore it. Call the credit card companies and let them know that you're just unable to pay that debt, and work a plan that you can work. $5 a month, $10 a month. Now, if they say no, doesn't matter. Still pay them $5 a month or $10 a month. Because if you end up in court and you can show the judge, well, I sent them this letter and I told them what I could pay. They didn't agree, but I paid it anyway. Guess who they're going to decide for? They're going to say, okay, bad credit card company, debt company, you were wrong for that. They tried to do it, and we're not going to harm their credit rating. So you would be surprised how much help you get if you just let people know what you are able to do.
And that goes back to the point that which you said before about accountability. You do have to hold your own self accountable, for your finances. We're going to take a minute and go to a commercial break, and then we're going to come back with Dr. Stephanie Wilson Coleman, and we're going to continue talking about financial strategies, how you can empower yourself through your financial difficulties. And if, again, like we said, if you're so blessed and, you may have millions and may be a billionaire, but still inside of that, we still want to provide that information, that empowerment to you, how you can save your money and you can gain through whatever situation you are going through in your financial situation. Again, at a place called Through, that is our title. We do want to help you to go through whatever you're going through in your financial struggles today. And again, we'll be right back with you on the topic of finances today with Dr. Stephanie Wilson Coleman here at a place called Through, Inspirational Moments. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Calling all HBCU alumni, supporters, and golfers. It's that time of year again. Yes, the HBCU Swing Into Their Dreams Charity Golf Tournament on Tuesday, April 5th. If you missed the last one, you have time once again to be epic. Don't miss the golf tournament of the year, the Swing Into Their Dreams HBCU Charity Golf Tournament at the Atlanta National Golf Club in Milton, Georgia, Tuesday, April the 5th. Registration begins now. Sign up your golf teams at swingintotheirdreams.com. That's swingintotheirdreams.com or call 770-686-7148. That's 770-686-7148. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to A Place Called Through Inspirational Moments. I am your host, Patricia Wade Goings, and today we have with us as our guest, Dr. Stephanie Wilson Coleman, who is sharing with you today financial stability. You know, that's the one issue that affects so many people globally. We all are going through one way or the other. And, you know, today everybody's talking about the pandemic and how it has slowed down things, but there are steps that we need to learn. If you don't already know them, there are steps to be empowered through your finances. And so that's what we're talking about today with Dr. Coleman, you know, how to be empowered through whatever your situation is financially. But I want to share with you a thought, you know, that she shared with me previously. It says, find the inner source of your being, your dream, and live it. Develop a method of prioritizing things that are important to you. Unloose unneeded baggage. And see, a lot of times, you know, we get into this, well, I got to have this and I need that. But think about it. Is it necessary? You know, and you may, whatever may be necessary for you may not be necessary for the next person. But if you find yourself in a situation and you really believe in your gut that, yes, it is unneeded, rid yourself up. Don't even go down that avenue. But yet you have to embrace new relationships that are healthy and beneficial to you. Maximize your dollar potential. And that's what we're talking about, you know, today, the empowerment and maximizing what you have and where you can go with it. So we want to continue talking to Dr. Coleman, you know, in the last few minutes of our interview with her today about that maximizing what you have in the, you know, your dreams are to be successful. So we want to go back into this, but, you know, one thing that we want to share with you, as we do with everybody else, you know, we didn't just wake up and say, okay, we're going to be a financial expert, or, you know, we're going to be, you know, a minister, or we're going to do these different roles. There were things that prompt her into this empowerment movement to connect people and to help them. So, you know, we know that growing up, you know, life brings challenges to all of us in different ways, but it was through a real crucial time in Dr. Coleman's life that made this shift for her. So we want to go back just a few minutes, Dr. Coleman, if you will, and let's talk about, you know, after school and your aspirations. What were your aspirations when you were in school? Because, you know, when we meet with our guidance counselors prior to graduation, we say we want to do this and we want to do that. And sometimes we end up doing it and sometimes we don't. So what were your dreams, you know, when you came through school? What was it that you wanted to do?
So I always wanted to be an attorney and eventually a Supreme Court justice. And I find myself, and I'm not, so I find myself even in my practice now that justice and equity is still incredibly important to me. So those are my core values. So I was a teenage mom, so I got pregnant at 15. And during that time, some of those things were just off the table. Schools just didn't have a way to accommodate the person with the baby. And I didn't have parents who were willing to keep a child for me while I went to college. So I went locally. I went to college locally. Eventually, I always wanted to go to an Ivy League school. So I was able, with the grace of God, to get tuition paid for me to attend the University of Chicago to get an MBA. And the one thing I learned from that is once you have an MBA from the University of Chicago, people don't question you anymore. And then I was able to get a PhD. So what I found was life is going to happen to us. Okay. We've got lessons to learn that we are not even aware that we need to learn. But once we decide we want to take a path, or there's a place we want to go to, there are things we don't know that we're going to have to learn in order to be successful once we get there. So here comes the trials, people call them. I just call them the lessons. I just call them this, school 101, because you're going to need to know that in order to be successful with where you want to go. We have no idea how to get there, but our job is only to know what we want. How is going to be taken care of by the universal presence of God. So when you get a challenge in your life, I always ask, what is it do I need to learn here? What did you come to teach me? So I've learned not to look at anything as bad, but it came to teach me something. So what is that something? And if you want to know what you believe in, and that's another thing, is do you believe in yourself, or what do you believe in? So once you look at your money and you see where you're spending it, what you're probably going to find, like I did, is I had a huge belief in fancy dinners out, fancy clothes, and fancy cars, because somehow it was important for me at that time, but how people saw me and not how I saw the world. And of course, my husband left, I was homeless, so we had to start that all over again. So then I learned, what do I believe in? And as I started working toward what I believed, then I found that a lot of people have no sense of how to use their money like I didn't. And that would be a good place to start, because you do need money to live. There's a quote that I think is funny, is people say, money can't buy you happiness. And then there's the rebuttal that says, if it can't buy you happiness, you don't know where to shop. So where are you shopping? So I like to shop in gratitude. I like to look at things that I'm grateful for. I make sure a day doesn't go by. And sometimes I'm in gratitude all day long. And then I realize that the more you're grateful for whatever you have, that you will have more of that. So wherever you focus on is what you're going to get more of. So if you're too busy focusing on, I don't have enough, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough love, I don't have enough clothes, whatever you don't have enough of, if that's your focus, that's what you're going to create. So get busy focusing on what you have. So you've got some money. Now, the question to ask is, how do I use it better? Okay. So when you go shopping, if you will see something you want, if you don't have 3 things at home already that you can wear with that, you don't need that. And I don't care if it's $1.99, leave it in the store. Okay. If you are buying something and the first thing you think is, I have no business, girl, I have no business buying this, but I'm gonna buy it anyway. Don't buy that, because you have just cursed the money, and you've cursed the outfit. Okay? Don't do it. Every 4 to 6 months, depending on the climate, you need to go through your closet, eliminate what you don't like, eliminate anything that makes you feel bad about yourself, and get it out of your house. If it's in good shape, donate it. If it's not, throw it out. Because everything that you look at should remind you of the blessing that you are to this world, so that you can get busy living your dreams and living your purpose, because that's why we have all of these problems out here. Everybody's not on purpose. And if we won't
Absolutely
solve this. So
that's our goal.
That's our goal.
Living on purpose.
Living on purpose. And the purpose isn't for you to go buy a brand new car, high-end car that's going to depreciate 30% once you drive off the lot. When you drive off the lot, you cannot sell that car for what you just paid for it. So you have lost 30% of your investment. Is it worth you losing 30% of your investment? Then I have people take the purchase of whatever you're going to buy, divide it by your net income, and figure out how many hours you have to work to pay for it. Is it worth it?
And so it's necessary for a strategy.
30 hours of work.
You have to have a strategy, a plan, as you previously said. You have to put a plan and hold yourself accountable for your plan and your purpose. Because again, in order to get that stability and that sense of, okay, I am, I am supposed to have this, you have to have some kind of stability in your plan. Because if you have a plan and you're not certain about it, it's just going to fall apart. So as you said, if it's $1.99 and you really don't need it, it's not a necessity and it's not going to change anything, just leave it where it is, because that is not, it's not necessary. And I think that that's where a lot of our problems come sometimes, is that, we don't think outside of the boxes. We like to say, what really is necessary? Can I really afford to do this? And then if you can, what is on the other side of this? Am I creating more debt for myself?
Right.
And then when we get into, the credit cards, we find out, okay, the interest has gone up. We're, just overloading that. So now we're struggling now to even pay off the credit cards for even some of those smaller things, when, as you have indicated, we could have just left it in the store. So, we have to make really serious, hardcore decisions as it relates to our finances in order to be, I would say, more stable in our financials. And again, like I said previously, everybody talks about the pandemic, and because of the pandemic, I this and I that and the other. And yes, some of it may be true, but on the other side of that pandemic, were you stable then? That led you in, because one of the things that you talked about early is being prepared. As you went through, your divorce, you were not ready for what was coming down. You had to learn, okay, I've got to do certain things. And so, and it's not just always divorce, there's life changes, things do happen and you do have to be prepared for it. So in the final few minutes, would you share with our listeners and our viewers, that word of wisdom, that empowerment word that will lead them into being more sufficient and stable in their financials and spending?
One thing I want people to remember, to understand, is that whatever you're going through, chances are it's not because of the pandemic. The only thing the pandemic did was to bring the microscope to our issues. And I think I call that a big timeout that God had given us, so we could sit still, because we don't learn who we are and what we're doing until we're still. So I need people to take their finances seriously. If you have credit card debt, you can't afford to shop. So stop shopping and get that debt paid off. That should be number one. Know what your financial plan is. Is it to own a home? If it's to own a home, let's have a plan about that. Is it to get debt free? You got to have a plan for that, which means you can't go put new debt on top of existing debt. Make a decision in the plan as to how you're going to handle it when people ask you for money, because that's a big issue too. My rule is, I will help you if you can help yourself. So people say, I need to borrow this, I'm in this. I says, how much do you have on your own problem? They tell me, I may match that. So don't let other people's problems become more important to you than you are to yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. And if you've got some debt, credit card debt, call a credit card company and ask them to reduce your interest rate. What can they say? No. No one ever died from being told no. So you'd be surprised how much you can help yourself. You can readjust your monthly payments, but that does take work, and you've got to be committed to yourself and your success and your financial plan in order for you to get through it and to be successful. Department stores are not going to close. Trust me. It's a big deal about Bloomingdale's. They have trust funds set up for great grandchildren not even born yet. Okay. They can make it without you.
Yes, and they will. They absolutely will.
That's right.
Well, unfortunately, our clock is winding down on us, but I want to thank you for sharing that information with us, that powerful information, helping, people to get a better look at their finances. Listening to you, I'm like, okay, I need to really look at some things a little bit differently. And we hope that today that is what has happened for many of you that have tuned into us. We've got roughly about a minute and a half, and I want you really in about half of a minute to share with, our listeners, our viewers, about your websites, your phone numbers, emails, and how they can reach out to you for information. Again, I said, I'll give you about a minute to do that, and then we're going to have to close.
My website is champagneconnection.com. That's champagne like the liquor, CHAMPAGNE, connection.com, because life is too short to not have everything that you want. Phone number is on my website. You can reach me there. Email is SEWC, my initials, at champagneconnection.com.
Any books out?
Yes, Creating a Speech from a Master Mess is my latest book. It can be found on Amazon and any place that you buy your books. It's available in the Audible book too, for those of you who like to listen to books.
Well, again, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule, Dr. Coleman, to share the information with us today here on A Place Called Through. I am the host. I am Patricia Wade Going, and we do broadcast from WYTV 7 Community Broadcasters Network. Again, we want to share that opportunity now for you to make the charitable donations to our mission of hope. I am Evangelist. I am the author of a book, Willpower, The Call to Rise Above. And if you like what you've been hearing on A Place Called Through and you want to share your inspirational moment, or perhaps you want to spread the word to one of your friends or family, give us a call in area code of 843-608-9744. You can reach me at pgoingswp@gmail.com. Please follow me on Facebook at A Place Called Through, at Willpower, The Call to Rise Above. And my website is www.willpowerthecalltoriseabove.org. Follow that website for upcoming events and also more information about interviews to come. Stay tuned for more. We're coming back with you next week talking more on inspirational moments. It's been my pleasure. Again, Dr. Coleman, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Have a great day.